Hi there, my name's Howard, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get started with the HUD Analyzer software. So the first thing you would have got from Larry Goins and company is a zip file, which is HUD for students and then the latest version. Currently we are on version 3.11, the S stands for students, and you will have received that. If we have any updates to the software, we'll go to 3.12 and so on. But for now, we're on 3.11, so please just take the file that you've been emailed or you have downloaded, and you can put it anywhere, but my recommendation is to simply create a folder of your C drive called HUD or similar, and place the zip file in there. It's just a convenient place for you to do all your working related to the HUD. Alright, once you've done that, please just unzip it. You can use the unzip tool of your choice, but with Windows you usually just right click and say extract here. So that's all you have to do. You'll see that two things happen. There's now an a macro enabled Excel file, and there is a data directory which is currently empty, and we're going to see how we can populate that data directory. Okay, so what you need to do is double click the file to open it. It's password protected, so you will receive that password when you're doing your student course. So please enter that password in there. If enable content is required, please click it. So enable. If it says macro enables, if you get any security warnings, just say yes to all of them. Enable everything, because the software is we guarantee that it is not harmful to your system, obviously, and so just do that, please. Okay, so you've got that software open. In a browser window, I've got the HUD Home Store website open. What essentially our software does is it interacts with that website and tries to make things a little bit easier for you to see what's going on with HUD homes. Okay, but there are a few setup items required first, so that's what I'm going to do in this video. So we've seen how to unzip. Now we see that we have 4 tabs. Okay, the controller tab is where you can do things, and we're going to do some of them in these videos, all of them actually. You have an active tab, which is homes that are available for sale. In other words, they are actively available. Inactive ones are homes you've interacted with before, but they're no longer on the HUD Home Store for sale. They might become for sale again. We'll get into more detail with that. Then you've got a parameters tab. It's pretty straightforward, this. The resource is the student. It just means who is working with the system. There might be situations where you have more than one person working with a spreadsheet, and then you could have Howard and Andrea or whatever, but for our purposes you'll just leave it like that. We just track today's date in this cell. States will be added as we go, and there is some ability to change the formatting and colors of the spreadsheet, which we don't think you'll really need to do. We've tried to keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so step 1, before you can get started, the very first thing that you have to do is you have to add a state. Okay, so next to the switch state button, you can also see that this cell in our state named range is empty. We haven't added a state. Once you've added a state, we can work with it. We can also add multiple states. There's no limit, and you can switch between them so you can manage your homes in each of the 50 states. So let's begin. We're going to add one. So basically we type in the new state, and I just want to illustrate that when we say type in, if you go to the HUD Home Store and you drop down state, we want the abbreviation for that state. So if we're working with Virginia, we don't type in Virginia, we type whatever HUD wants, which is VA. So it's the short version of that state. So why don't we add Virginia? Let's do that. I say OK. It says, are you sure? You say yes. And it says it's been created. A new folder has been added for it in data. Let's just confirm that. You see it's going to create subdirectories for the Virginia state and for whatever other states you may require. So that's really good. We've now added a new state. Sorry, I didn't mean to click notes. Let's go back to our software. So once you've got a state, you can work with it. And the first thing you want to do is get today's HUD data. You can do this manually. There's no reason why you can't go in here and select Virginia and download the HUD homes listed in Virginia. But we've tried to make all of that really simple for you. You just click there, and when you click there, it's referring to Virginia, because that is the state I'm currently in. That's why the block's in red, the cell is in red. We are working currently with Virginia. So let's get today's HUD data. the software will kick off IE, Internet Explorer. You have to have IE installed, and this is a Windows version of the software. I must stress that as well. Okay, once it pops up, you can go Save As, and what you'll do is the first time the software gets clever, it'll remember, but the first time it may not. Just go to browse to the States folder inside Data. You'll see that it always has this nomenclature of today's date with case list, but you don't want to put it in the wrong folder. You don't want to put Virginia's data in South Carolina, for instance. So put it in the right place, please, and click Save. It's nice to clear this list, otherwise it gets confusing sometimes if you've got too many of these things. Okay, we could then add another state if we want, but for now what I'm going to do is update with today's downloaded HUD. In the next video we'll add another state and talk more about the information that we actually get. So let me cancel there. If you haven't added a state at all, none of these buttons will work. You have to first add a state as step one. Okay, let's update. Let's make sure the software knows we're in Virginia. Yep, there's today's case list. There we go. Let's do it, and while that's happening, I'm just going to say that your interaction with the software is really every day you download the data and you import it. So you do two steps for each state. You go back to the controller, you get today's HUD data for the state, and then you update. So that you do that for Virginia. If you're interested in 3 states, let's say North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, for each of them, you will get today's HUD and update, get an update. Switch state, get an update. Switch state, get an update. So that's the way we work. I think most people just work with one state, but the software has the capability to work with multiple. Okay, let's see what actually happened there. Well, firstly in parameters, you'll now see we have state VA, which makes perfect sense. We could have 50 of these things, and will if we keep adding. In inactive properties, there are none currently because it's today's. We've just started working with the software, so you can see that this is now every single property that is available on the HUD home store for Virginia. And look at column D, these are all Virginia properties. Every single one is now inside our system, and we can interact with it. Okay, so that's just the introductory video, which is getting started. In the second video, which is how to, I am going to illustrate how to actually interpret this information. What is every column in this tab telling us? I'm going to go through adding another state and then switching between the states, and that should give you an overview of how to work with it. But just a quick recap before I end this video. What we did was we unzipped the folder to HUD off our C drive or anywhere else we wanted. We add a state by clicking plus and typing in the 2-letter shortened form of the state that we want to work with. We then did a get today's HUD data, which will apply to the state that is in the red cell. So we got today's data for Virginia, and then we update with that file that we've downloaded. So it's add a state for once, then every day get today's HUD data, and then update with that downloaded data. Hope that all makes sense. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video, which is a how-to video.